Amazing. So welcome everybody. I am Marni Levine. I head up the seller operations and engagement team. Thank you for joining us today. So we have a great agenda today. We're going to spend a lot of time on seller update, right? So majority of the time, just so you guys know, because we know seller update is a big deal and there was a lot of great stuff in there. And so we're going to spend a lot of time there. But I'll give a quick update on, seller protections, a little quick update on what's going on, for the 25th celebration. And then, of course, we're in the midst of holiday listing month. So I'll give a quick update on those. And then Jordan will give an update on North America business and some of the exciting new programs we have launching. And then we'll go a little bit deeper into seller update. So Harry will give an update on a lot of the tools. I think there's a demo involved, of course. Stuart will give an update on shipping. The big news there, I think you all saw it, not to steal the thunder, but the big UPS launch, which we're thrilled about. And then we have Scott Kelleher, our Senior Director, Head of Brand Advertising and Partnerships, to talk about promoted listings. So great agenda. For those of you who are new on the call, Q&A, please put it in the Q&A tab. Chat away in the chat, but any question you have, please put in Q&A, and we have people on call to answer the questions right in Q&A, and then hopefully if there's time at the end, we'll take some live questions as well. And then also at the end, stick around. We have, I always screw this up, Jordan, a survey, a poll, I don't know what we call it. But at the end, we have a few questions for you guys to answer that we'd love you to stick around and just digitally answer. And we'll put those up at the very end. All right, so now on to my portion of this event, seller updates. So one, I just wanted to quickly remind everybody, we have seller protections in place. Those are due to expire on September 30th. We're relooking at what the rest of the season and the rest of the year looks like, right? We are seeing some improvements on the USPS side, and Stuart will talk a little bit about that. And of course, we launched UPS. So for now, we have quite a bit of choices on the platform, which is great. So right now, we are holding firm that through the end of September, we'll have protections, and then we'll continue to assess as we get deeper into the holiday season. Perfect holiday listing month. So this was, we're doing these monthly series. I know we're getting great feedback that you guys really like these. And this month was all about the holiday listing, and we all know holiday is coming quicker than ever this year. And so, we featured some great topics. Harry was on the podcast last week. If you haven't listened to it, if you haven't downloaded it, do so. But we really talked about optimizing your listings, whether it's keywords and title words, right? I always say don't make the buyers work too hard to find your items, whether it's adopting, item specifics and attributes for search. Really optimizing your listing, of course, is key. Pricing, right? Well, Harry will talk about the new therapy tools, and Scott will talk about some updates to promoted listings. So how do we make sure, your prices are right and you're using all the tools at your disposal? Of course, we talk about, it's all about the detail. So the photos, as I like to say, photos, use all the photos, use the white background, image cleanup, but please, the buyer wants to see everything in detail. And then, of course, just consider what you're sourcing for holiday. Holiday is looking very different this year, as we all know. Home goods are really trending, decorations for the house. People are cooking for the first time who haven't cooked before because they used to always travel to the in-laws. And now, they're staying home and cooking for themselves. Some people probably are happier about that, not going to the in-laws. I'm not judging, not saying, but, you get to stay home and do your own cooking. So really just look at the inventory you sell. And really consider other areas if you haven't considered them before. But again, check out the podcast. There's videos on Facebook, of course, for eBay for Business. So please check that out as you're starting to list for holiday. And then last up, 25th celebration. So it is a little over a week away on September 25th. That is next Friday. The festivities will begin. We'll have what I'm calling the cocktail party, although it's virtual, at 12. I love a 12 p.m. in the middle of the day cocktail party. Who wouldn't? But the festivities start at noon. That's kind of the pregame or the cocktail party where we'll have trivia. You'll be able to live chat with other sellers. That's where you can, download digital swag, things of that nature. So join at 12, but then the programming starts at 1 p.m. and you'll hear from myself, you'll hear from Jordan, you'll hear from Jamie, and you'll hear from Andrea Stairs, who runs our North America marketing organization, all about we'll do quite a bit of a look back, of course, with fabulous videos about our sellers, but we'll spend some time looking forward as well. So it's going to be great. If you haven't registered for the event and you're on this call, please do so, ebay25.com. Please, if you're on this call, you absolutely need to be at the celebration. So please go register there. We're waiting for you. We have thousands of sellers who have registered, but the more the merrier. So please do so. We are so excited. There'll be some, obviously some special events. We're going to have a seller panel. There's going to be I don't want to give too much away or else my team will kill me. But there's going to be a DJ, which is going to be kind of playing some tunes through the decades. I guess we'll start with 25 years ago and go from there. But it's going to be a great time, and I'm thrilled to celebrate with all of you. Again, September 25th, be there. And for those of you who are early birds and registered early, please, you'll get your swag, and please put it on, show it off. What is it? I never want to screw this up because hashtag eBay25. So please share them with us. Hashtag eBay25, all your fabulous swag through the years. We're really excited to see it. So that's it for me. Quick one. I am going to hand it over to Jordan to give an update on the North America business.
Perfect. Thanks, Marni. I hope everybody's doing well today, wherever you are in the country, in Canada. I don't know if we've got people connecting from outside those two regions, but it's great to see all of you today. Thought I'd actually just give a quick update on sort of, what's been going on at eBay. I know when I'm on different social channels, many of you have asked sort of like where I'm spending my time. So just kind of, give you updates on all those topics. So the first one, kind of ties together. So, you heard Jamie talk about this on earnings and in different other forums he's been out speaking at, which is really around, becoming the seller platform of choice. And so, it's easy for us to put up, great sound bites that sound, fantastic and, pithy and look great in an analyst report. What gives me confidence is for Jamie, that's actually a real thing. He's been on forums like this, talked to many of you, and it is a big part of where we are pushing next year. And so I actually spent the last all day yesterday sitting with our board, and so I thought I might just share a little bit with you around, what that dynamic is like, because in this little less than 6 months, Marni, I think that Jamie's been back. A lot has changed. We have a new CEO. We have new board members, and we have some people who aren't on the board and some shareholders who aren't really around in the same state that they've been before. And all of that kind of frees us up to really set off the next 25, which is kind of exciting. We've got our celebration coming up, and for a whole bunch of reasons, I don't think I've ever been more excited around what this means about the potential for our next 25 years. And so yesterday at the board meeting, we were talking about, how are we going to, Harry and team has talked, a lot about the tech transformation and getting onto a modern tech stack. How does that free us up to move faster? What do we need to do on C2C? What does seller platform of choice really mean? And what level of investment is required for us to build all the tools that many of you are looking to expect? And, the great things were announced in Seller Update. I think Harry's going to touch on some of those a little bit later, right? The time away tool, multi-user account access, but so much more to come on that front. I've talked with many of you really since I've been back around how we need to start differentiating. And I see some questions in there and some frustration around returns is totally warranted. We spent time with the board talking about what does it mean for us really to make sure we can build a scale, but to be different and solve things differently in verticals. I'm going to touch on watches in a second. And then we had a great conversation. And I will tell you, some of you may love to hear that one of the questions actually that the board asked unprompted was, how does community weave into this? How does community tie into our strategy around platform of choice and verticals? so that we can win in a way that is uniquely eBay. And so, more to come on that front. But I thought you might find that particularly exciting that in a large company like eBay, at times the board can feel very removed from issues that might be front of mind for you. And I can tell you, I'm really excited about the nature of conversation engagement that the board has, the level of support that Jamie has to drive on this outcome. So a lot of reason to be excited. And then watches. So full disclosure, I have not owned a watch since like 2001. I think I dragged a good friend of mine to go and find this really cool Swiss Army pocket watch of all things, because I'm like, watches are silly. I don't want it in my hand, so I'm going to find a pocket watch. So I don't know the last time I had a watch on my hand. It's probably like a Timex in high school. So you may be wondering, like, why was eBay's first big move in verticals into watches? Is this like Jordan's pet category? I learn every day on watches. So there's a whole bunch of reasons why we ended up here. But what I would want to sort of communicate to all of you who may not own, which is probably most of you, a $3,000 to $10,000 watch, is actually what's going on behind the scenes and why it's so exciting for where we're going at eBay. So we launched this authenticity guarantee. And what does that really mean? It means eBay, or our trusted third party, is now sitting in the middle of all of the transactions. When a watch gets sent to a buyer, it's actually the authenticator. We're opening it up, we're inspecting it, we're making sure it is authentic, it has original parts inside, it's meeting the expectations, it gets delivered to the buyer. The buyer doesn't then need to worry about getting counterfeits in the mail. The buyer doesn't need to worry if a seller didn't take perfect photos. Like, is this a way that they're trying to avoid it being a real watch? And for the seller, it means when the buyer returns the item, it doesn't go directly back to you. It goes back through the authenticator. And so you don't need to worry if the buyer has actually altered the item, is returning it in its exact form. And I will tell you, we've only been live for a couple of weeks. It's still ramping. We have definitely stopped items that are not authentic. Someone paid $3,000 for Rolex, and I would call it not much better than your $12 Times Square special. And we have intercepted returns coming back to sellers that have been the proverbial rocks in a box. The most egregious example I saw was actually just bubble wrap in a box. We didn't even get a collectible rock. It was just bubble wrap. And so these are the things that I know many of you are frustrated with around returns. And so, I think, I know, Patty or Donna, you were kind of asking, how is eBay handling, remorse? We can prove it. There's no good answer to that question. Like, we can't do social engineering and try to trap someone into saying something in chat. This direction allows us to have much more certainty on, hey, if you have a final sale policy and we've authenticated the watch is exactly what you sold, that watch isn't coming back to you. If it gets damaged and shipping to the buyer, we will work that with the buyer and the carrier, but you don't need to worry about those things. And so there's a lot more to come on this front. Obviously, watches is just one tiny part of eBay's total ecosystem. But I think the elements and attributes of this, of us really getting at the root cause, giving buyers the confidence and giving you the confidence that we are going to bring more certainty into how we handle disputes and claims. If you want to run final sale, given the nature of your liquidation inventory, saddles, first edition Spider-Mans or whatever, this capability allows us to do those things. So you'll hear a lot more from us through the rest of 2020 and into next year on these things. But I hope you see this as a good first step. I did say saddles. I hope you do see this as a good first step for us as we head in this direction. So, Marni, those are the key things that I wanted to touch on today. I hope I hit all of the items that you thought would be most useful for this group. And then, as always, I'll be on chat for the rest of the session, so people can feel free to ping me directly.
Yes, and we'll hear from you again next Friday at the celebration for sure. All right, so on to fall seller update. Harry, take it away.
Awesome. I have to set my timer. I've been told I only have 15 minutes. And I have got a lot of stuff to show you guys. So many friends on the call today. I love doing these calls. Hopefully we're going to get back to in-person upfronts and the like. We talk about it a lot. I think there's an upfront coming up, right, Marni? Detroit. Are we doing Detroit, right, in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, Detroit next week.
Which I'm super excited about.
And then Toronto the week after, I believe. So
yes.
We're going cross-border.
I love going up to Toronto. I mean, I'm ready to travel again is what I'm saying. But anyway, back to the regularly scheduled program. Like I said, so good to see so many familiar names on the Zoom today. So let's just jump right into it. I mean, you heard Jordan talk about the seller platform of choice. And you've also heard Jamie talk a lot about the seller platform of choice and what goes into that. And a lot of the things that we've been working on this year and what you're going to see come in the fourth quarter and into next year is all about building this very robust tool set that makes us really your partner of choice, that platform of choice that provides analytics, inventory management, all the things that you need to really manage your business effectively. You guys hear me talk a lot about, efficiency and profitability, conversion, all of those things. These tools that we're building are all designed to do those things. And the first one that I want to talk about is something that I know has just been on the board for so long, which is the replacement for vacation settings. Finally, we have delivered a brand new vacation tool. We call it Time Away, as you can see. And it really does solve for so many of the legacy issues that many of you struggled with. And the big one, of course, was automatically updating estimated delivery dates, right? When you went on vacation, it was basically, a glorified out-of-office assistant, just like you'd have in email. And it didn't take into account updating your handling time. So for many of you, that meant, hey, we got to go set up separate business policies, right? And we have to adjust the handling times and put those against all of our listings and re-update of our listings. So it was a lot of complexity. So let me start by going through all of the enhancements and what this means in terms of being so much more efficient for all of you. As I said, the first thing is you don't have to worry about updating estimated delivery dates. And that means you don't have to go create a separate set of policies. And nor does it mean that you have to go into bulk edit and replace to actually kind of fake update your listings to get them to hide or unhide when you would turn vacation settings on and off, because it wasn't a priority re-indexing of searching with that service. Okay, so those are some of the big ticket items. Let me just back up for a second and talk about what are the features to Time Away. So there are two settings. One is the soft setting, as we call it, and the other is the hard setting. Okay, the hard setting is effectively you do not want to deal with any transactions while you are away from the office. So effectively, it is going to remove the listings from search. Okay, doesn't change their indexing because they'll be re-indexed in search effectively the same way they were when you come back from vacation. But when you go on vacation, you're saying, I don't want to deal with any transactions at all. So again, the listings will be hidden from search. If someone has that listing as a watched item and they try to check out, it will prevent checkout. All right. So you're literally away. That setting is good for 30 days at a time. On the 29th day, you can come back and set it again for 30 days. And the nice thing is that you can also schedule the time away now. So you're going to be going away in 2 weeks. You can set the time up, and in 2 weeks' time, it sets all that up for you and does all of that work, as I just said. The other feature, which is really cool, is the soft setting, which enables your listings to remain in search and for the listings to still effectively have a transaction on, which means best offer would work, SIO would work, all of those things. And what happens is it, again, automatically updates the estimated delivery dates, the handling time, so that your buyer knows that if they make the purchase, you're not going to be able to deliver the product until you return from vacation, right? So there's no hits on handling times or any of those things. We do all of that automatically for you. So again, we really looked at what were all the issues in the tool. We knew that the estimated delivery date was the biggest one, but it gives you the flexibility to decide whether you want your listings to remain in search and visible and transactable while you're on time away, or to physically go dark, right? And again, remember, auctions, you can't put them on vacation. If they're engaged, it's really like a soft setting. So it only applies to fixed price listings. And again, this is going to start ramping in the next couple of days and will be completely ramped by the end of September. So it truly is brand new. And again, it really does solve for a lot of the legacy issues. And again, that last big one, for those of you that went on hard settings and you literally needed to have your listings come down from search and then go back up into search in real time, that required you to take that whole additional step in bulk edit and replace. You no longer need to do any of those things. All right. So that's kind of the hottest one, which is the new time away feature. Let's go to the next slide. So Many of you know that I happily announced multi-user account access at eBay Open last year. And throughout the course of the year, we've continuously been adding more and more permissions to it, more and more features. And one of the things that we heard, tremendous feedback on Mool was, what about shipping tracking and shipping labels? We need a way for our employees to be able to do the full fulfillment, right? Recently, as you know, we had added the ability for employees to view orders, right? To download the order report, which means they could effectively pick and pack. But they couldn't print labels or update shipping. Now, coming in the next couple of weeks, will be shipping tracking. And in the fourth quarter, we will launch shipping labels, which means that now your employees can do the complete fulfillment. They can pick and pack, print the labels, upload tracking, and basically get all of that product out through the delivery mechanisms, which is really, really powerful. Into next year, the next big thing for us is the member-to-member messaging, and then, of course, to handle return flow as well. So employees can deal with that like a help desk, basically. So those are the last two big pieces for MUA. I'll also make note that just recently we added 2FA, which is two-factor authentication. So it adds additional security, which means that for those employees that you've delegated access to, they can't give their user ID out either, right? Because it's always going to authenticate against your mobile phone, either against the app or against a mobile phone number. So much more additional security and a lot more features to give to your employees, again, to make it much, much easier to manage your business. So there you have a quick update on MUA. All right, now I'm going to go real time. So this is my favorite part. We actually get to show you real time stuff. So let me just take control of the screen. Give me 1 second here. All right. And what I want to start with is a quick update on item specifics. And we talk a lot about item specifics. And remember, this is one of the most critical parts of your listing, is providing these very crucial item specifics. Why? Because it's the item specifics that ensure you are further indexed in search and your listing has maximum visibility in terms of the way that buyers are looking for your inventory. In particular, when buyers use the left-hand navigation filters. If you don't provide the key item specifics, like style for a watch or the model, and that's how they're filtering using the left-hand nav, even though you might have it in your title, your listing does not get returned in search. That's why we keep emphasizing the importance. Now, what have we done? Well, we've basically gone to this real-time mode, this proactive capability, instead of being very reactive, where we were basically a year ago, where we were doing everything in spreadsheets. What are the updates to item specifics that we're making in categories? What are going to be the name changes? What's going to become required? It required you to do a lot of hunting. That is no longer the case. Everything is real time, completely in the listing flows, and now we're beginning to launch our post list guidance as well. So first off, for those of you that are in watches, you would have seen over the last couple of weeks that type and department were actually going to become new required aspects. That happened on September 9th. But before that, they were actually right here at the top of the recommended flow. And instead of showing the search counts, they actually showed soon to be required. So that's all now dynamic directly in the listing flows. You no longer need to look for them in a spreadsheet. You'll know in the listing flow and in a moment in the post list guidance when we have upcoming required aspects. So we're going to give you at least 60 days to fill them in. And you should know the reason they're become required is because they have very, very high buyer demand data search counts. And that's what you see right here. Style is 6 million searches alone. Model is 3.6 million searches. And that's why it's saying the more of these that you fill in, the more opportunity your listing has to get in front of buyers. Now let's take a look at the other side of the flow. So here, looking at my listings, and I actually just created, a demo listing for Seamaster, right into 10% of you. And starting October 6th, when we do the additional updates to item specifics, we're going to start rolling this feature out to the remainder of, really to all of you, to the rest of the selling community. And what it does is it provides a new column that is going to indicate to you in real time which required, which soon to be required, and which recommended aspects your listings are missing. You also, of course, can filter easily by using the quick filter pills at the top. So the example here of the Omega Seamaster, I can directly click from here. It opens up a pop-up window that now allows me to easily edit the listing right from active listings. I don't have to go into Cub anymore, into the advanced listing flow. The other thing that is important for you to know is we recognize that not all of these recommended aspects sometimes are going to match your listing just because of the way the entity type is built. So we built in a mechanism to allow you to dismiss the recommendations. So once you fill them in, okay, you can dismiss it and it'll no longer say to you you're missing recommended aspects. Every 30 days, it'll do a recheck to see if any new recommended aspects with high buyer demand data have been added, and it'll re-alert you to that just to say you should consider adding these. But again, the power is all with you. We're going to help alert you in real time. And if you no longer want to be alerted, you can dismiss that. And the second phase of this would be to do all of that in bulk, of course. The other really big feature that we added is the ability to edit all of these things in an Excel spreadsheet. So here, this little download button across all my 8 categories will open up and say, which categories do you want to work with up to 3 at a time? We don't want to make it too overwhelming. So I already have that spreadsheet open. And the key to this is what you'll see here, I'll just maximize it for a second, is that these listings are now in Excel format. The boxes are color-coded by missing recommended or required, blue and red. I have no missing required. But the greatest capability of this is it allows you to edit the listings with the full power of Excel, meaning full drag and drop, cut and paste, all of those things. Like just as a quick example, if I wanted to change the color of all the sneakers, like from black, from blue all to black, literally I can just grab the cell, drag and drop, and bang, it's that fast. And I re-upload the spreadsheet and all those changes are made. So the ability to edit your item specifics in bulk using the power of Excel really makes this an efficient process. Okay, trying to stay within my time constraints here. Moving quickly, next, let's talk about traffic reports and the upcoming key analytics we're going to be providing. So as you all know, one of the biggest updates we made to the traffic report is making it real time. The ability to analyze where your traffic is coming from literally within seconds, not within days, which is the way it was before. Now, you'll notice that at the bottom here are a lot of my recent sales, and you'll see my sales conversion rates are really, really strong, right? 9%, 7% with high impression counts. And this enables me to really analyze whether I want to engage promoted listings or not. Now, I use promoted listings pretty much on all of my listings, and this allows me really in real time to gauge how many impressions am I getting if I don't use PL versus when I do, because I, again, can do that with the real-time data that's being provided. At the end of the day, it's about what is the quality of the listing? Am I getting good impressions organically or not? And if not, or can I improve the number of impressions I'm getting by having a better quality listing? So now this is the creme de la creme, which is our new listing improvement report. Now, I'm just going to whet your appetite because I'm down to a minute here. This is going to be available in the 4th quarter of this year, and you all being on this call will have access to it because we're going to give it to 5,000 US sellers to trial it out. But effectively, this enables you or enables us to tell you with all of your listings how those listings compare to the top 10% and bottom 10% in the category you're listing across every single piece of data of the listing, not just item specifics, but literally number of keywords in the title, number of photos, whether you're using marketing engine, whether you're using promoted listings, whether you're shipping internationally, everything takes all that into account and then gives you the top 2 recommendations of changes you can make to your listings to improve the quality. Now, in this particular case, it's saying you're missing brand and you're missing Google Shopping. Now, this is where it gets really cool because as part of this report, and by the way, if I look at some of the other categories, you'll see it says best opportunities, the number of photos, or in this case, you're missing recommended item specifics. So it's not just one thing, it's a whole number of things that will analyze for you.
Sorry to interrupt. We're not seeing that screen. We're actually still seeing the performance tab dashboard.
Oh, Adi, seriously? Thank you. You know what I did? Which means you guys didn't see That's a bummer. Hang on one second. I didn't share the whole screen. Dang. Thanks, Adi. Good catch. Now you can see it. I think you guys are getting the gist of it, though. So, well, it'll land on the best part, which is all of what, very quickly, here's what the spreadsheet what it looks like. So all of your listings here in a category with all of their details, and again, color coding and pulling out the relevant actions you can take. Now, it also has a Google Shopping rejection report telling you which listings did not get to Google Shopping. Remember, we put all your listings up there and why they were rejected from Google so that you can take action, improve the listing, and make sure it has better exposure than it did before. All right, Liz, hopefully you'll give me 2 more minutes, please, since I had that little technical foul up. So let me go back and just share our last screen, which is Terapeak. So quickly on Terapeak, we have made a huge amount of enhancements. And the biggest one that is so important now is the ability for Terapeak to not only search by title only, but also there's those very valuable item specifics. It basically means that 30% more listings return in the search and is much more accurate than it ever has been before. And we've incorporated those filtering capabilities, just like the left-hand navigation that buyers have in search. Now you have the same thing in selling search in Terapeak so that we can be very granular in the search that you're looking for. So again, whereas before, you could only search by title, it couldn't get as granular to really give you a great appraisal price of what you are trying to sell. Now, with all the item specifics included and the filters included, you can get to an extremely granular price filter in Terapeak. And finally, here's the last thing. We are now incorporating that little summary window directly into the listing flow itself with the ability to do the analytics right from here as well. So it opens up a little pop-up window and gives you Terapeak directly from the listing flow. Now, at phase 1, we're currently out to 25% of you. So 25% of the sellers, it's in the middle of ramping, and it works currently in electronics, fashion, and collectibles. And obviously, we'll be expanding that capability. That's just this little module in selling that it's limited to 25% in those 3 categories. Obviously, Terapeak is across the entire platform, but over the course of the quarter and the next several quarters, we'll continue to enhance this and continue to add more of the categories and more sellers to that. And so there was a very quick speed round, if you will, of some great new features and great new enhancements. Sorry, I only had 15 minutes today. But as I said, that listing improvement report that you kind of had to, imagine, if you will, for the beginning part of that, and I apologize, you will all have access to that in the 4th quarter to play with yourself.
Great. Thank you, Harry. I know it's always so quick and you have so much to talk about, so we appreciate you at least getting through the most important things. Thank you.
That was impactful for 15 minutes.
I know. It's a good thing you talk fast. All right, Stuart, let's hear an update from you on shipping.
Thank you, Marni. And as always, guys, thrilled to be here talking with all of you who really make it happen every day. I've mentioned a handful of times the world of shipping and transportation is really not an easy one. It's difficult in normal times, and certainly it's been even more challenging over recent months. So first, a recognition of that. Thank you for all you great sellers and great shippers. And second, a huge thanks to all you do every day in this space. So let's first get started talking a little bit about what Marni alluded to in the beginning and what you saw earlier this month, which is some new shipping options. We have really been working hard to create more shipping capabilities and to provide more options since the end of last year. Certainly, it's even more relevant now given the challenges in the industry. But as you saw just most recently, a few weeks back, we did announce a new partnership with UPS, bringing their capabilities to our eBay Labels platform. Super excited about this. This just gives you as sellers now access to another shipping partner services at discounted rates through the ease and convenience of our labels platform. So excited to bring this capability to the marketplace now as we continue to deal with COVID-related issues, and certainly as we head into peak season, which we're going to talk a little bit about here in a minute. So please take some time to look at the new, at the rates that are out there with UPS, about their service capabilities, drop-off locations, et cetera. The availability of the service is in full ramp now, and I think most of you have already seen it or will within the next handful of days. So please take a look. We also, on top of that, wanted to remind everyone about the new FedEx rates that we implemented earlier this year. As everyone knows, FedEx has been a partner on our platform for numerous years now. And in February, working very, very closely with them, we were able to bring down the ground rates and home delivery rates, as well as introducing a really strong nationwide 2-day delivery service with incredibly low rates. So many of you have already adopted those services. We ask that you take a look again and really encourage you just to look at these different offerings that are out there today. We also want to talk a few minutes about what's going on in the international space and the offering that we put in place there, eBay International Standard Delivery. EISD we launched earlier this year. We get a lot of questions about how the service differs from GSP. Simply, EISD is a delivered duty unpaid solution, where GSP is a delivered duty paid solution, which charges buyers upfront for duty and tax. GSP is an opt-in program, and EISD is really a shipping service that's an alternative to other international shipping options like USPS International Services. EISD is a product that we brought to the market that leverages commercial logistics companies. It ships to over 200 countries around the world. It includes $100 of insurance coverage with each shipments and protections against negative feedback and defects on late deliveries. It's been really adopted incredibly well over a short period of time. If you're not using it or if you've not tried it, please do. It's a cost-effective program that performs, has consistent tracking, and I mentioned the protections we have in place. So please take a look at and give us some feedback as we continue to evolve that product. So really some exciting things that we're happy about in the world of shipping options for you guys. Take a look at them. And before we move on to the state of the industry, I just wanted to mention we're also looking at new ways to show these shipping options on our labels platform that should better illustrate choice and bring awareness to these options. Some of you may be seeing some of these options that we're putting out there now. So please know that you may see them and give us some feedback on what you like and what you don't like. So thank you for that. Okay, we can move on to slide 2 on what's going on in the world of shipping in the carrier network. So certainly we're all very aware of the challenges the shipping industry has faced due to COVID. And as we sit here in mid-September, there's an incredible amount of volume in the system, and there are still delays in the networks for certain. And I think it's fair to say that the USPS has really been impacted by this, but over the last month, we've seen some real steady improvement in their service. And today we see that their on-time numbers indicate that they're about as high as they've been at any point during COVID. Their on-time rates are that high, but still behind pre-COVID levels. We know there's been a lot of discussion, a lot in the news about the USPS. We support the Postal Service on a long-term basis that can bring economically viable, strong solutions to the marketplace. They're in better shape today than they were. We will remind everyone, though, that still is, back in April, they added a 1 day in service to both their first class and priority mail services. So we're in good shape or better shape with those days added. So just keep that in mind. UPS and FedEx have had delays in their networks as well, but they are managing at a higher on-time percent. And also we know that when UPS and FedEx are late, their long tail is not as late. So their late deliveries are not as many days behind. So keep that in mind as well as you're making decisions around shipping. We will continue to work with the carriers on a daily, weekly basis. As you know, we've mentioned we've been doing that and making changes to our EDDs, estimated delivery dates. We'll continue to do so at a zip code level. We ask you to really to continue to ship within your handle time, and we'll continue to make the necessary adjustments based on what we're seeing in the markets. Now, as we look forward to peak season, we should expect peak season to be a challenge, right? The volumes that are in the networks today are already at peak levels, and we've not yet hit peak. So you can do plenty of reading about the concerns that are out there. The industry believes there may be a shortage starting sometime in November of millions of packages every day. So there'll just be potentially ongoing delays as you try to push those all those packages through the network. So keep that in mind. We also know through industry reports that some of the carriers are capping volume from some of their larger customers. All three, USPS, UPS, and FedEx, have announced peak season surcharges that are being implemented. So certainly there's reasons to be even more aware, prepared, and ready. Now, specific to eBay labels. So for those of you who are printing labels on our platform, there is no volume cap. So regardless of what you read about what carriers may be doing to cap customers, there's no cap if you're printing labels on our platform. And as in terms of the peak season surcharges, we'll be making announcements relatively soon on how carrier peak season surcharges may impact eBay labels. So take a real hard look at all the advantages of eBay labels. And again, as you head into peak, if you have direct carrier relationships, make sure you're planning with them now as we head into peak. Great. Finally, I just wanted to wrap by talking a little bit more about what Marni had mentioned earlier in terms of the protections we have in place. She mentioned in place here to the end of September. And then as she said, we'll be looking at those as we head into the fourth quarter. We are removing late shipments due to carrier delays. So if you've uploaded valid tracking, we'll credit you with on time, even if the carrier has delays. This, of course, is to ensure that late deliveries don't impact your standards and ability to qualify as top rated. And as I mentioned, we know there's been challenges with deliveries being really late. So we're also protecting sellers from item not received defects and item not received service metrics that are caused by this. So if an INR case is closed without seller resolution and the item is delivered after the case is closed, we're removing those defects when valid tracking is uploaded. And then finally, negative or neutral feedback related to items not received claims and late shipments will be removed as well. So more to come on protections as we head here into October and into peak season. And happy to take any questions as we head into the back portion of this. And thanks everyone again for everything you do in the world of shipping. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Stuart. Great update. Let's hand it over now to Scott to talk about promoted listings. Some exciting new enhancements there to share.
Yeah, very excited to be here. Thank you, Marni. And also, we'll do my best to talk quickly. I'm going to do my Harry impression here, go as fast as I can, but still make sure that we get the stuff out. So I'm Scott Kelleher. I'm the ads guy. Really excited to meet all of you today. And sorry I can't be in person. This is my first time getting to address the group like this. And we were chatting about it ahead of time. And I said to Marni, I'm kind of nervous about talking to everybody. She said, good, you should be. So that's kind of where we come from. But really, really pleased to be here.
I'm very protective of these people.
It's true. But, and by the way, she also wasn't so protective of me. She's like, hey, you better bring your A game because otherwise you're going to get eaten for lunch. So, okay, that's fair. But thank you. And I'm really looking forward to building on what Harry was talking about. Harry, thank you for the promoted listings plug, but also your theme about recommendations. Because when you see what we've been bringing to market, that's kind of been our best push forward, is to say PL is an amazing product, but we think we can continue to make it better and make some stronger recommendations for how you can get more value out of it. So this year, I know everyone's had to be incredibly flexible. I know Marni and Jordan have really been listening to everyone's feedback. We want to make sure you guys have a chance to crush Q4 as best as possible. So for anyone who isn't familiar, promoted listings, please use it. It's a great tool, and it's a chance for you to get your items more visible in lots of different places around the site. Anytime you see a tag that says sponsored, that's a promoted listing. That's exactly what we're talking about. And it's a unique ad platform in that the model that it's built on is cost per sale. So if your item doesn't sell, doesn't cost anything. When you succeed, we succeed. So we're definitely your partner in this together. So what we're going to show you today is some stuff for people who are already using PL and some stuff for some new stuff. All right, so first up on the next slide, let's talk about some eligibility changes. Hopefully you saw this in the seller update. This one shouldn't be that big of a surprise. We know all of you work super hard to be ETRS or well above standard, and we want to make sure that the listings that we're promoting are from the sellers that are at that level. So starting now, you have to be above standard or ETRS to be able to participate in PL. And remember that promoted listings are not just in search, but throughout the entire site. So they're on lots of listings pages and a great chance to get increased visibility across the board. So for sellers who are really actively using PL today, hopefully you're going to be excited about the next couple things that we're going to show. So if you can go on to the next slide. All right, so Harry gave us the tip off about this, but we want to say that we've also flipped this over. So where Harry was talking about how you could see your PL information on your performance tab, we've also now flipped it so that within the marketing tab, you can see your organic data within the promoted listings dashboard. So this is a big view for us. And if you look, there's a whole bunch of new drop downs that are under the summary. Please encourage everyone to go in there, use those drop downs, because those will set the filters for you that you can change in different places. So the idea in increasing the transparency is to give you more data to make better decisions as we go into Q4. Remember, test, test, test. That is the best strategy within PL. But within this dashboard, you're going to get a whole bunch of new views. So now, using those little controls at the top, you're going to be able to see promoted listings, organic impressions, clicks, sales, overall, and done at the campaign level. And we've started to bring some more advanced analytics in for people who are used to using ad platforms, potentially for some other places. So things like CTR, conversions, impressions, clicks, sales, and then how you optimize through for that. And some of these more advanced analytics are things that you're going to be getting used to seeing, and we're going to have some more stuff to come beyond that. So very excited. And the last thing that I want to call, not the last, but the next thing I want to call out on this slide is hot off the press. It just launched yesterday. If you see the little reds and greens under the bigger numbers there, this is what we're calling X over X. And this is a chance for everyone to start to get a sense of how their business is performing against previous timeframes. So you'll get a chance to look and compare and say, all right, what happened this year against this week last time, or this week against last week, or this month against last month. And we're starting to try and give the velocity information that will hopefully be able to give you greater visibility into what's going on. The goal, of course, is always to get all these things green, but if hopefully just by getting a little greater insight, that will help from there. Hopefully you'll also notice that we moved the sales reports up to the top of the page. You can see the blue links up there all the way up at the top. So nothing is going away. We did move a few things around, but absolutely nothing went away. We've only brought more things onto the page. And one more time, I just want to make sure that everybody does remember to take a look at those drop downs. We've heard from some sellers that there's confusion about some of what is in there, but it's all there and then some. Hopefully, I'm going as fast as I can because I know we want to make sure we save some time for questions. So let's go on to the next slide. All right, now let's get into enhanced guidance. So this is the build off of what Harry was saying before. Our goal is to help give you guys stronger recommendations to get more value out of promoted listing. So again, the biggest piece of advice, test and learn, test and learn, test and learn again. But if you look at the image on the left-hand side, you see that nice big green recommended. Recommended listings aren't exactly new, but we heard from a whole bunch of sellers that people really weren't sure where to find them or what it even meant. So what we've done is now flip it over so that the items that we recommend that you use PL for will now appear at the top. And most importantly, what that means is, and we've also improved the algorithm beneath so that the recommended listings are items that have high consumer interest as well as high competition on the selling side. So this is the opportunity to get both pieces in play and give you total transparency about what's happening in there. Then the second image there on the right-hand side is about ad rate strategy. So if you look on that side, we've taken what used to be our trending rate, which was a fairly, I don't want to call it generic, but it was a fairly open recommendation as to what ad rate percentage you should be using, and we're now replacing it with a suggested ad rate. So this is tailored to every item individually, and it's designed to help you stay competitive and find the optimal balance between performance and cost. So the suggested ad rate is calculated based on a bunch of things, but item attributes, seasonality, past performance, current competition for each of those items. It's an important one. And another thing to call out is definitely look at this because it is 100% possible that the ad rate that we suggest to you will be lower than what you've currently got yourself set at. So be very clear. This is independent of where you have you set your ad rate today. We're going to make a strong suggestion for you. Take it as you like. But we're really pleased there. So again, it's a suggested ad rate, but we really encourage you to check it out. So the last little piece here is if you look at those three radials, this goes within the suggested performance bucket, but you can now start to set better rules at a bulk level how your ad rate should be implemented. And again, the higher your ad rate, obviously you'll get a greater boost in search visibility and in the search algorithm. But that balance between performance and visibility always comes through. All right, so that was it. I went as fast as I could. Hopefully that kept us on time. I was clear enough. Harry, you leave some big speed talking shoes to fill, but I think we got it covered.
All right. I think so too. And there's so much great information to share with this group. And each time we do this, we're like, we should extend it for a little bit longer, but we're also cognizant of your time and it's the middle of the day and you're busy, selling and shipping and running a business. So, we teeter on whether to extend this or not. Maybe we will next time to test it out. But thank you so much. So we've been doing a good job of answering some of the questions in the Q&A and lots of chat going on. So let me start by, let's see. Let me find what am I looking for? Harry, there was a couple on product. Is eBay working on fixing the issue with the search feature in Seller Hub? After selecting the criteria and hitting enter, the system sometimes will arbitrarily change the search criteria in one of the fields. Are you aware of that, Harry? Is that something your team can look into?
We can. I'm not quite clear exactly what that issue is.
Okay, so let's have the stuff. Great, then let's do that. So for
is anybody on my team answering that question?
Let's take it offline for Claudia, who had this, and then we share all of these questions and answers with the whole group, so everybody obviously can see them. One that I wanted to address there was a question around the why didn't sellers get the $25 coupon for the 25th anniversary? And I'll answer that. It was actually specifically a buyer coupon. So we are doing a ton on the seller side, right, with the seller event and the swag, and we have plenty of goodies to go around, certainly. The coupon was actually for people who have purchased and bought items, and many of you have on eBay for the past 22 to 25 years. And I think it was a little confusing, certainly in hindsight. I think the language on the coupon we could improve on next time. I think it said if you have been a member for the past 25 years, a member could have multiple meanings and connotations as opposed to, if you have been purchasing on eBay or buying on eBay. So great feedback, but it wasn't buyer coupon. So if you didn't get it, just know why. We didn't forget about you. And please, if you haven't registered for the seller event, we'll get you tons of more than $25 worth of fabulous prizes. So, and a great afternoon of fun. So please do that.
Marni, I see Danny saying that she's a big buyer on eBay, never got the coupon. I think I'd offered this feedback to Dawn as well. If you don't have multiple accounts and so you never got the $25 coupon, please send us your user IDs. A, we'll make sure we find the right way to thank you for your long-term loyalty. And B, we may ask you a couple of questions. We understand why you didn't get the coupon.
Right.
Maybe you've opted out at some point of our different marketing emails. One of the most common things that I find when someone reaches out to me because they didn't get a pricing promotion offer is in our not so simple user preferences for email communication. You may have opted out of, I don't want marketing emails, but you've also opted out of, I don't want like promotions and different offers. And so if that's been opted out of, we actually can't send you these things. So if you didn't get one, please reach out to Marni, myself, or Harry. Harry loves getting things in his inbox, and we'll make sure we take care of you.
Absolutely.
I was reading Claudia's question. I see she brought an example of like waiting to ship versus wait and shipped. So I mean, the default is when you have an action, like I've got something waiting to be shipped, that's the default. Like when I click on orders. After that, it's really, I don't think if there's, then you have to sort of use the drop down. But I will take a look. I mean, I guess you're saying that it is arbitrarily switching to different default searches there. Is that correct, Claudia? You can answer in the chat if you want to. And I mean, we'll take a look and see what's kind of going on there.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that behavior.
Okay. Well, let's look into that a little further. Kathy has a question. Okay, PL team suggested ad rate versus old trending. Old trending was generic for the category. Suggested is more detailed, popularity, seasonality, etc. Correct? Can you explain that a bit more?
Yes. So not much because that was pretty accurate. Yeah. So
well, of course it was. It's from Kathy. Come on.
Kathy, nicely done. But yeah, that was all done at the category level. This is individual item. And is going to be learning much faster. So you have a new algorithm that's taking a look at this, and it's going to be a much, much, much more accurate suggestion for everybody.
Great. Let's take another one. Jordan, you said you understand not the one size fits all, yet it seems eBay search is favoring price and filtering out higher priced items, which is becoming a problem in the antiques collectibles categories where the algorithm thinks it's the same item, but it's not. There are such slight value difference issues, but I'm running searches and not seeing full results. Is this something being taken into consideration? And Jordan, I don't know if you can answer that as much as the product team, but
I don't. I was actually just trying to stumble my way to a typed answer to Danny. So you
good. I put you on the spot.
No, actually, so Danny, if you want to just email me some examples, I'm happy to dig into it. The only two changes I'm aware of that could possibly be related are we've tried to do a better job of predicting which category somebody is trying to refine to. So if they're searching for like, specific kind of, headphones, well, they probably don't want like athletic ear pods. And so getting them into a subcategory faster, but I don't think that would describe the ASP effect you're talking about. And I know there's been some testing going on of, hey, if when a customer is in a specific category, they are typically buying at a high price point or a low price point, we should change the ranking of those items accordingly. But I can't think of anything that I've seen that would result in us filtering out certain price points. But if you or anybody else on the call wants to send me some examples, as always, it's just jordan@ebay.com. I'm happy to check those out and ping them over to Harry's partner on the buy side, Mohan. He's a big supporter of stuff like this, so no problem.
Great. Thank you, Jordan. So I know we're at time. Two quick things I want to talk about that came up in the chat or in the Q&A. One is customer service. And so we'll get those questions answered. We don't have somebody from customer service on the line. But I do want to remind everybody that really, first off, like ebay.com/seller help. is a great resource 24/7, right? We have the community as well. Obviously, this does not replace GCX, and we don't want people staying on hold for a long time. So we'll take the feedback back to the customer service team, but we'll also get some more detailed information out to you guys on the customer service and our capabilities, because we have launched and we continue to launch some great new technology around, callback, chat features, things of that nature. So I want to make sure everyone understands the whole scope of how you can get through to customer service going forward. And we'll look to have someone from GCX customer service on this call, maybe to present in the coming months about all these changes and all the new and exciting tools that they have. And the other thing I want to mention is I saw a lot of you chatting about the building your profile for eBay 25. So there was an issue a couple of weeks ago, which was fixed, and now we're looking into a subsequent issue. So let me get back to you. Again, we're building this on a separate platform. So Harry, you're off the hook. But let me get back to you all and find out exactly what's going on, because we want you to build those profiles. That's like half of the fun, is to identify yourself, build the profile, share it with everybody else, and have an amazing time. So it is on top of our radar. We actually have a call, I think later today, with the team to figure out what went wrong there, and we'll get back to everybody, not just on this call, but all the thousands of sellers who have registered and want to create their profile. So I want to address that. All right, so that's it. Jordan, any final thoughts? Harry, any final words?
Just thank you. I don't know, it's halfway through September, obviously starting to get into holiday, for whatever that means. I think in general now, most of e-com is expecting holiday to start sooner this year. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, Stuart and team, and as many of you feel on the other end, got their hands full on shipping. Lots of exciting stuff coming out from Harry and products. So just thank you, everybody, for your ongoing support, the feedback, the patience. Keep the feedback coming. And I don't know, lots to look forward to.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Claudia, thank you for the additional details. So we'll take that one and check it out. Donna, just for you, the issue that you put on Facebook today, we've got a fix in place. We're working on it right now, so we'll get that resolved pretty quickly. And we love these calls. I mean, I love them in particular. I love demoing all the new stuff, and look forward to seeing some of you at Upfront on next Thursday, and hopefully get back to these in person, and look forward to the celebration next week too.
All right. Well, thank you all for your time. We're going to put up that poll now, so please stay on and take it, answer those questions. And thank you again for your time, and I'll see you soon. Take care.